An astonishing 750,000 high school students would walk across the stage on graduation day as parents every year, given they'll stay in school. This is supposed to be the biggest moment in their lives, and at this point in a teenager's lives, nothing is supposed to top the feeling of leaving the most hated place in the world. If a student has already brought someone into the world, what will ever top that? Their youth is over before it has begun. What can we do to stop this? I believe high schoolers should have access to contraceptives and its information at all times. No one should have to plan on raising a child before their own childhood is up. Studies show that more than 65% of high schoolers are sexually active. And as a student coming from a high school with the highest pregnancy rating in Georgia, I've seen so many lives change from not taking precaution. They should have access to birth controls to protect themselves from health risks, to maintain emotional stability, and so that they may have a chance at a future. If they are at least given the option, not only would it benefit taxpayers, less adolescent pregnancies would end in fatalities or health and mental health issues, and more of our children would graduate and experience life. Many teenage pregnancies end in fatalities for the child and or the mother. Teenagers are hardly responsible. An article on Livestrong.com reads that teens are more likely to have a lack of prenatal care because of irresponsibility and procrastination from fear of telling someone what has happened. Pregnancy strains a body, making the mother weak, causing sickness, and adds on to the stress that is already there from school. A human body will not fully develop until after the age of 22. Anyone who becomes pregnant before the age of 22 has higher risk of miscarriage, anemia, and preeclampsia. For the baby, this can result in premature birth or a low birth weight. These conditions could result in long-term health problems for the child. Additional to health problems, premature birth could make a child slow to learn. According to the Center for Disease Control and Prevention, a child born to a teen mother is more likely to have behavioral problems, chronic medical issues, and lower proficiency scores upon entering kindergarten. He is at risk of being incarcerated as a teen or a young adult, and of dropping out of school and parenting his own child at a young age. Teenagers have had a hard enough time with responsibility over their own lives. Adding another life to theirs will put a hold on their future. Babies take a lot of time and effort, making school work nearly impossible to do. A teenage parent never has the option to be selfish with his or her life, and only 38% of teenage mothers will receive a high school diploma. Parenthood is the leading cause of school dropouts, and even further than that, research shows only 2/3 of children born to teens earned a high school diploma. Having a child as an adult already takes an emotional toll on a woman. Postpartum depression is a type of depression affecting mostly women, yet even some men after childbirth. Teenagers are recorded to have more stress after childbirth. They will not only know how to handle most situations because they have not had experience much in life to become tougher. Studies show that the human brain will not finish developing until the age of 25. A human's highest maturity levels are not achieved until after the brain is developed. Teenagers have not yet developed, therefore sometimes they have the wrong priorities in line. A child, as beautiful as it may seem, places such a burden on someone who has not yet grown up. The stress of not wanting to grow up could cause the couple to separate, leaving two single parents and sometimes only leaving one single parent. I definitely do not mean to stop sex education, because we could still try to prevent sex. But while some scream to preach abstinence, we know that does not always stop teenagers. No single abstinence program has been rigorously evaluated, so it is uncertain to say whether or not they are effective. Abstinence works for very few people for religious reasons, but for the rest of the teenagers filling up the high school classrooms, birth control needs to be accessible before it really takes a toll on their truly innocent lives. With or without that being said, teenagers will always do what they want, even after they've heard all the facts. Do you need more statistics? Teen pregnancy rates in the United States have fallen in the recent years, but the country still has a higher rate than any other developed country. Battles over how the best How to best prevent teen pregnancies may be to blame for the continued high rates. Controversy rages on from the federal government's refusal to allow emergency contraceptive pills to be sold over the counter to girls aged 16 and younger. The new data taken from a survey conducted in 19 states underscores the problems with access to contraceptives and the education on how to use contraceptives effectively. Half of the teenage girls aged 15 to 19 who became pregnant were not using any method of birth control. Among those, 31% said they didn't think that they can get pregnant at the time. Pregnancy occurred among 21% of the teens who said they were using highly effective contraceptives, which the study authors said suggests inconsistent use. Almost 1/4 of the teens relied on condoms for protection. 13% said they had trouble getting birth control. If they are not educated nor have the access to contraceptives such as birth control pills, shots, condoms, etc., they could be one of the 750,000 teenagers. Teenagers have not learned who they are yet. What makes you think that they can control another life? Let us not let our own become a statistic.